God, we thank you tonight for this opportunity to gather and to worship you. We thank you for this house of worship you've given us, and for each and every time we're able to meet out here. It's such a blessing to be able to be here. We thank you for all those who've joined us tonight, whether it be online or whether it be the few that are allowed to gather here. We thank you for your presence and for you to be among us tonight. We thank you for your spirit, dear God. We ask that you'll just be in this service and all the words that are said and the songs that are sung, that it'll just glorify you in your name. And we just ask that we'll be a blessing for you and that we may help people in this lost world. But at this time, we just ask that you'll bless the service and just keep us strong and humble, and we'll give you the praise. Amen.
And now we have come in our Savior's name, a battle to fight and a victory to gain. So gird on the armor, to battle we will go. With Jesus to help us, we'll conquer every foe. Rally, rally, rally round the cross. No one ever will suffer loss, but in the name of Jesus we'll conquer every foe, and victory will perch upon our banner as we go. Our fathers we know to the Lord were true. They took up their swords and they battled through. They're safe now in glory and looking down to die. They conquer you and die to be faithful in the fight. Rally, rally, rally round the cross. No one ever will suffer loss, but in the name of Jesus we'll conquer every foe, and victory will perch upon our banner as we go. Daniel of old was entreated sore when David despised and the lions ignored. The death he must meet, or his God he must deny. He compromised God, even though he should die. Rally, rally, rally round the cross. No one ever will suffer loss, but in the name of Jesus we'll conquer every foe, and victory will perch upon our banner as we go. The conflict of sin be forever over. Our children will come from the other shore, and get home to heaven rejoicing we will go, and praise Him for the victories given us here below. Rally, rally, rally round the cross. No one ever will suffer loss, but in the name of Jesus we'll conquer every foe, and victory will perch upon our banner as we go.
I'm glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to say that I'm converted and sanctified. And I'm just so blessed to be here right now. I've really missed church. It's been kind of a downfall in my life. I know it has been to everyone. And but I just know that even though we're not coming to church on a regular basis like we used to be doing, the Lord will still keep us and He will take us through. And eventually this will all end and we can all meet together again. And I'm just so looking forward to that day. And recently I read in the 8th chapter of Matthew because we read the Sermon on the Mount in our Sunday school. And I went ahead and read the 8th chapter and I got a blessing from it. And at the beginning of the 8th chapter it says, "When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make us clean. And Jesus put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Jesus saith unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way, shew thyself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them." And then it goes down and says, and when Jesus was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a a centurion, beseeching him and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Jesus saith unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, and having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he doeth it. When Jesus heard it, he marveled, and said unto them that followed, Verily, verily, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and the west, and sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Jesus said, Go unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed the selfsame hour. And I just feel like through this time, people, I see people when they get into a state of devastation or last moment panic, some people go to the Lord even if they haven't put their faith or trust in him before. That's just kind of a result that society enters when something isn't going their way. They think that maybe the Lord can comfort them. And even if some people don't worship the Lord on a regular basis, I feel like our society knows that God is there, and because otherwise they wouldn't pray to him if in times of distress. And I'm just so thankful for Jesus and his power. And this man, he had complete faith, and I just want to have that faith because I know that we will soon get out of this mess. We will soon enter back into the real world, and even if it may not be this summer like everyone's wanting it to be, even though I really hope it will be, but soon enough we will get back together, and I want to be a part of that, and I have no desire to turn away, and I just want to keep going until we can get back together and worship again, and I know it's going to be great, and that's just all I had to say, and y'all pray for me.
Oh, spread the tidings round wherever man is found, wherever human hearts and human woes abound. Let every Christian tongue proclaim the joyful certainly glad to be here tonight. As Luke was saying, it's a bit different to be preaching to empty benches, but it is our new normal for the time being. It's what we're going to have to get used to, I guess, for the next little while. And as Luke was saying, I have missed church so much, but there are, as I was saying on Sunday night, there are so many different other ways that we can worship God, and I have found a lot of different ways through this that I'm hearing from different crowds more often. I feel like I get to tune in to different people preaching, and that is a blessing. And as I talked about Sunday night, I've been trying to find the blessings in this quarantine because a lot of people are not so happy about it, and while I'm not happy about it either, there have been good things. But this scripture I'm about to read says it better than I can. It's towards the end, but I'm going to start in the beginning of the chapter. It's in 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter. It says, "Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we faint not, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of God deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of God. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them." And Brian talked, I listened to one of his sermons that he was broadcasting, and he talked, and he said, we as young people, we're on our phones a lot, and through this time, we might not be able to see everybody, but you can text them, or you can call them, or FaceTime them, or whatever, and you can still shine your light to whoever you come into contact with over the phone. You can still have Christ in everything that you do. And it says, "For we preach not ourselves, but Christ Jesus the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Jesus' sake. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, hath shined in our hearts to give light of the knowledge of the glory of God into the face of Jesus Christ. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us." And those verses talking about how we are preaching Christ and we're preaching the Bible. We're not preaching anything that we've done or that that we have done good in this world or whatever. We are preaching the Bible, and that is what we are standing on. And I've heard many people say that they've come to our church for the first time and we're told to go read behind us. And I want y'all to do that, that if you don't believe what I'm saying, if you're not sanctified and you don't really believe this, go read behind us. You'll find it for yourself. Go dig into the Word. And it says, we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. Always bearing about in the body of the dying of the Lord Jesus, that the life also of Jesus might be made manifest in our body. And I guess I'll finish out the chapter. It's only a few more verses. It says, For we which live are always delivered unto death for Jesus' sake, that the life also of Jesus might be made manifest in our mortal flesh. So then death worketh in us, but life in you. We having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believed, and therefore have I spoken. We also believe, and therefore speak, knowing that he which raised up the Lord Jesus shall raise up us also by Jesus, and shall present us with you. For all things are for your sakes, that the abundant grace might through the thanksgiving of many redound the glory of God. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. And I feel like as people are sitting in their homes listening tonight, you can have your inward man renewed every day. You need to die daily to God, and he can renew you every day. He will take you through. And it says, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we look not at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. And this shall pass, as Luke was saying, that we will come back together, and I cannot wait for that meeting when we're all rejoicing together. But we're going to enjoy it while we can, meet out here and broadcast to everybody. The meeting is open. We're going to have a few testimonies, and y'all get out and talk as you feel. Y'all pray for me.
Oh, to be there
When the Savior spoke the great command, and to witness in the wonder of His wonder-made
I'm glad to be here tonight, and I'm so very thankful to say that I'm converted and sanctified. And as it's been said tonight, we may not have a full stand tonight, but to be able to gather out here and lift up the name of God is something that I'll forever be grateful for. And especially after all this, I'll never again take for granted the opportunity we have to gather and worship. And I've been thinking, as Emma said, I've been trying to look on the bright side of this situation too. And trust me, I know that it doesn't seem like there's much of a bright side here, and I wouldn't disagree with you there. But I've really been putting into thought and into my reading and into my prayer what is good out of this situation. And I thought about I started thinking on Sunday mornings we've been able to still have Sunday school online, and on Sunday night we've been having people come out here and read, and we'll have service here. And then on this Tuesday night we had a young folks Bible study that we were able to participate in, and then on Wednesday night we had a service that we were able to watch. And now we're here tonight, and I thought about how, obviously we want to gather out here as a whole like normal, but we're doing pretty well. And I thought about how for a lot of people it seems like our church is the most, disorganized and kind of drawn apart right now. But I thought about how if you look at all the efforts that are going in, and just me personally seeing the texts that I've received and the people that have reached out to me, it seems like we're becoming more united than ever in this time because we need each other. And I think it's something we take for granted when we're coming out to church, because we have those interactions with people on a weekly basis. But now that I don't see my home crowd, and we're not having feast meetings to see people from not only my crowd but other crowds and people I don't talk to that often are reaching out, and I'm reaching out, and it's beautiful to see that how God's love can draw people together. And so lately I've been reading. I read through Genesis a month or two back, and now I'm starting to go through Exodus. And the beginning in the 3rd chapter of Exodus, I've talked about this on the stand before, but I read it again and it blessed me again just as much. And it's just 2 verses, the 7th and 8th verse. It says, "And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows, and am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, and unto the place where the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites." And I thought about that verse, and I thought about it again last time I read it and this time too, how it's 2 short verses. And I think that's something that when I guess the first time I was sanctified, when I read it, I kind of just went through it and but without that verse, the entire Old Testament is gone. This 2 verses sparks the entire rest of the Old Testament. And to think about how, the power of God to say that, and he was just working through a man. And it says later on Moses was, he was doubting and he was questioning how, because he wasn't a great speaker, and he had all these doubts and worries. And if you read on, it might take a little while because there was doubt, but God fulfilled his promise. And I thought about how, we all come to a place where we need God, and God has never failed in that time. If we will submit ourselves to him, God has never failed. And it goes on later in the story of about the plagues. I'm not going to take any time to read that, but it talks about how after each plague Pharaoh hardened his heart. And I think about so many people I know continually harden their heart, and I know God is calling them. And I feel like one thing I drew from that scripture is that God is always calling, and whenever we are able to have our heart not be hardened and to heed his call, that is when we truly can get our sins forgiven and can become sanctified, because he always is calling us. He wants us. There's never a time where God does not want to accept us into his kingdom. It's just a matter of when we'll open up our hearts to him. Sorry. And then just the chorus of a song that's been just going over and over in my head as this time has gone on. Song number 243, Lean Upon the Savior. And the chorus, you all know it, it says, Lean upon the Savior, tell him all your cares, for he's ever mindful how his children fare. Hearken to his counsel, for he knows what's best. To the heavy laden he has promised rest. He's promised rest. And I've thought about that song so many times since this has all begun. And I've truly been trying to just lean upon the Savior and tell him all my cares, because he's ever mindful, and he'll always be there for us, regardless of if we're stuck at home or if we're able to come out to church. Whatever the situation, God is there for us, and I'm just continually thankful for that. I'm thankful for all of y'all who are here with us listening, and I just ask that you'll continue to pray for me.
The way our fathers traveled is good enough for me. They traveled in the footsteps that led from Calvary. It led them up to the glory, a land of endless gain. I expect to get to heaven by the same old way, this blessed old way. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. My Savior goes before me. I'll follow him each day, and I expect to get to heaven by the same old way. This world may laugh and tell me I'll never reach that goal, but good works are sufficient to save a human soul. The proudest world is talking, I'll ever watch and pray. I expect to get to heaven by the same old way, this blessed old way. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. My Savior goes before me. I'll follow him each day. I expect to get to heaven by the same old way. When powers extend and ties me, crush my weary feet, I find in Christ my Savior a safe and sure retreat. He tells me to press onward and not look back or stray. I expect to get to heaven by the same old way, this blessed old way. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. My Savior goes before me. I'll follow him each day. I expect to get to heaven by the same old way. There's millions now in glory and shining white array. They travel this same pathway and never were to stay. But happy now in glory, they'll sing both night and day. And I expect to get to heaven by the same old way, this blessed old way. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. My Savior goes before me. I'll follow him each day. I expect to get to heaven by the same old way.
Well, I'm so thankful to be here tonight. I'm glad to say I'm converted and sanctified. Like it's been said, I have so missed coming out here and coming to church. While I have been extremely blessed by all the other efforts, like Adam was talking about, that have been made, the online services, the Bible studies, they've all blessed me, but I've really missed being up here on the stand and fully being able to participate. I'm a big songs person myself, so I've really missed being able to stand up here and clap and sing along to the songs. I've really enjoyed having that here tonight. I realized while standing up here that I guess it's been almost 2 months since all of this started, and that means it's been almost 2 months since I've gotten up here to the pulpit and testified, and I don't think I've ever gone that long in my sanctified life without testifying before. So I really wanted to take this opportunity to get up here and just share a little bit of scripture that's been on my heart. I have been reading through 1st and 2nd Peter this week. Aunt Cindy read this scripture in our Bible study that we had online. I think it was last Wednesday, and I just happened to flip to it and read it this week, and it did me a lot of good. It gave me a lot of peace in this current situation we're in. It says, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ, whom having not seen ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls." And that one verse, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you, that kind of just reminded me that, you know, this situation that we're in, it's not ideal by any means. It's been rough, I'm going to be honest. It definitely has not been the easiest time of my life. But, you know, it's temporary when you just look at the bigger picture. When you look at the heaven that we have up above waiting for us, it really just puts it into perspective that this is just a blip on our life, which is small in and of itself, but when you think of heaven, but this is temporary, and one of these days we'll all be back here. And I was also thinking that the trial of your faith, being more precious than of gold that perisheth, this has definitely been a trial. I would definitely classify this whole coronavirus situation as a trial. It's hard not being able to come out here, and I miss coming out here and seeing our whole crowd here, and I miss going to work, and I miss having normal social interactions every day. I miss all of that stuff, and it's been a trial. It's been hard, but God, sometimes you can just go through the Bible and see countless stories of people who had to go through trials, and God blessed them in the end. And I fully believe that, God's blessing me through this, and I believe that he'll bless us when it's all over. I have full faith in that. And Adam was saying that he had been reading in Exodus recently, and I read through that book probably last month. And this song has been on my mind. I gotta find the verse. "Out of Egypt I have traveled through the darkness dreary, far over hills and valleys and across the desert sand. But I've landed safe at home where I shall not grow weary. I'm camping in Canaan's happy land." And I'm thankful for that tonight. I'm thankful that we're camping in Canaan's happy land. Those have just been some of my thoughts. I desire your prayers.
Out of Egypt I have traveled through the darkness dreary, far over hills and valleys and across the desert sands. But I've landed safe at home where I shall not grow weary. I'm camping in Canaan's happy land. here tonight. I'm glad to say that I'm converted and sanctified. It's definitely a little bit of a different experience, as I think we've all talked about tonight, but I'm thankful for the ability that we have to come together and to worship, and we don't even have to be together to worship, but that we have a God that's with us all the time. And I've enjoyed everything that's been said tonight. I think it's good and it's encouraging to see that people your age are still in the Word of God and that they're still gleaning something from it, and that it can still be there for us when everyone else literally is gone. But I, this morning, read in Thessalonians. The brother last night in our union meeting read some in Thessalonians, and it's just been a while since I'd read there, so I was like, hey, I might try reading there for a little bit. And I thought it was so fitting how the Lord can give you exactly what you need when you need it. As I was reading through this book, so much of it is about, oh, we can't see you and longing to be with you. And I thought how fitting that is for the situation that we're in. It says, 1 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, "But we, brethren, being taken from you for a short time in presence, not in heart, endeavored the more abundantly to see your face with great desire. Wherefore we would have come unto you, even I, Paul, once and again, but Satan hindered us. For what is our hope or joy or crown of rejoicing? Are not even ye in the presence of our Lord Jesus Christ at his coming? For ye are our glory and joy." And I thought as I was reading through this, that the inability to meet together is not a new work of the devil. That has been here since the creation of this New Testament church. They had different struggles, I think. I don't think it was an invisible virus that they were fighting, but they had winters that they couldn't travel during, and they had such hardships when they were traveling. You read about Paul and the shipwreck, and they had these very real physical barriers to being able to meet together, but that we can still be in the presence of the Lord Jesus Christ. It says, going on down, the 3rd chapter says, "Night and day, praying exceedingly, that we might see your face, and might perfect that which is lacking in your faith. Now God himself and our Father and our Lord Jesus Christ direct our way unto you, and the Lord make you to increase and abound in love one toward another, and toward all men, even as we do toward you, to the end that he may establish your hearts unblameable in holiness before God, even our Father, at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ with all his saints." And I thought that was so pretty, that people don't have to be around you for the Lord to build you up in holiness, that the Lord has the power to speak to you through his word in ways that no man can, and that your heart can be established and unblameable in holiness before God. And I'm really thankful for that, the testimony that we can have of holiness. And then I thought, even though Paul couldn't be with them, it says in this book that he had sent Timothy unto them. He didn't have a direct line of communication with them. But how does he end this book? And I think we all know this. It says, "Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient toward all men. See that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all men. Rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. Quench not the spirit, despise not prophesying. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good, abstain from all appearance of evil, and the very God of peace sanctify you wholly. And I pray God your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Faithful is he that calleth you, who also will do it." Brethren, pray for us. And I thought that was such a beautiful way to end that chapter, that he throughout the whole book was saying, I can't be with you. I'm longing to be with you, but Satan is hindering me from doing that. Regardless, pray without ceasing. Rejoice evermore. Quench not the spirit. That we can still have that testimony. We're not dependent on other people for our salvation, but our salvation is from the Lord. And I'm so thankful that we can have that testimony. I don't mean to belittle what we're going through, because it's strange and none of us have ever been through it before. And we don't know how to make decisions during it, and it's just very, very weird time. I thought one of the girls I go to school with messaged a professor on a group thing the other day, and she's like, "We don't know how long we need to have rent for. Like, do I need to extend my lease because I'm not from here?" when do we apply for jobs? When are we going to graduate? There's so much uncertainty that we're going through right now, and yet the Lord can be our rock. He is our salvation. I thought I read that scripture the other day in Matthew where it talks about the house that was built on the rock and the house that was built on the sand. They were both houses. Like, nobody knew about the foundation until storms came up. And so I want, during this time of uncertainty and during the storms that we're going through, let us be the rock. Let us be the people that people can look to us and see that there's a difference in our lives, and we have an anchor and we have salvation. And I'm just really thankful for the church that we have, even though we feel very disconnected right now, that we can still feel unified, and I'm really thankful for that. But I am out here to close. We do have time if anyone else has any other testimonies or any other prayer requests or anything.
There's just a lot of people right now that we need to pray for, and really just everyone, I think, right now, more than usual need prayer. And so many people have lost their jobs, and I actually I saw some two ladies the other day in a parking lot. They were playing the violin because they were trying to get money to afford rent because they had lost their jobs, and they were trying to afford for their children, and just people like that. And there's so many cases worse than that, and I feel very blessed and fortunate that I'm one of those that doesn't have to go through that. But there's so many people that this is affecting much more than us. The worst for us is we can't go out and go to church and go, do our daily life and routine. But there's a lot of people that are going through really rough things now, so just pray for all of them.
Anyone else? Now let's sing a song. Nobody can stand up.
Like a good
Like a goodly shepherd, watching o'er his sheep, this great God of Israel
Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this meeting we had here tonight, Lord. We thank you for your Holy Spirit that you've given us to live holy and free from sin in this life and walk together in fellowship with you and have this heaven on earth to go to heaven in. We thank you so much for that. We ask you to bless those, to keep those, to comfort those that couldn't be here tonight, Lord, that they wanted to be wherever they may be, those that are online, whether they be sanctified or not. They're all your children, Lord. You have their best interest at heart. We ask you to just help them see, wherever they may find themselves, that you are the one true God, and you are the creator of the universe. You are our Holy Father in heaven. You are our intercessor there. We ask you to just help us as we go from this place. Help our encouragement, our fellowship, our spiritual walks, Lord, our physical walks, those who are dealing with any kind of health issue, physical, spiritual, what have you, Lord. And we know it's a big ask, but you are a big God. You are an almighty God. We ask you to just continue to guide us and direct us, and we'll give you the praise in your name. Amen.